Happy birthday, Pisces! It's Rebecca from Being Human Tarot here with your March 2019 reading. I'm sticking with the same 3-card spread that I've been using, even though I did say last month that I wanted to do something new. I still do, but I've just not gotten myself together and to pick something new. And also I just realized that I love the 3-card spread, that I do a lot. I feel like it works really well for the purposes of these videos, but anyway, I digress. Warning, if you hear a little bit of noise that sounds like cheeping or microwave beeps or fire alarm that's running low on battery, it's my parrot. I apologize. I live in a small apartment. It's almost impossible to film somewhere that he can't project into. So, the 3-card spread is a reminder. The first card is what you want to focus on this month. The second card is what to set aside for the month. And then the third card is just an additional consideration for the month. And I'll get right into your reading. You have quite a month. I've already shuffled and drawn your cards. I should mention that I'm reading with the Enchanted Tarot, and it's an anniversary deck. I don't know if the usual regular deck is as big as this one, but this deck is huge, which makes it really hard to shuffle, but it makes the illustrations pretty great because there's so much more room for detail. So I hope you enjoy that. Okay, now to get into your month, you have quite a fiery month, really. You're starting with your focus, which you have the 5 of Wands. I'll move this a little bit closer, hopefully, so that it can get all of that illustration in. And the 5 of Wands, the 5s, are kind of like the conflict cards. They're like, oh, something uncomfortable is going on there that isn't my favorite thing in life. And so in this one we have a couple of people who are fighting. But it's sort of petty fighting. It's obviously not a major arcana, so it's not like a huge overarching thing for you, but this month it is coming up, and it could mean one of a couple things. The first could be that the cards are asking you to look at your life and be honest with yourself and identify the places and the people who you might be squabbling with unnecessarily. Is there anyone you've been kind of unfair to? And it could be for petty reasons. I feel like that can happen in the workplace. Little things build up. Someone says something curt over an email and just sort of stuck in the back of your mind that you don't love them the most. And then maybe they said something else another time, and just little things like that. It could be any relationship. Could be bickering with a significant other, having a challenging time with parents. So in this scenario, the cards are telling you that you need to examine those relationships and kind of take a turn with them. You need to move on. Not move on from the relationship, not ditch that person. Probably in most of the cases it's not an option because the person's in your life for work reason or some other reason and we don't want to just walk away from people who we have conflict with. That would be ridiculous, and we would have no one in our lives ever. But what I mean when I say you need to kind of take a turn and walk away from it is that you need to kind of let bygones be bygones and shed some of this energy, because it'll just hold you back. You might be trying to win a point or prove something, parrot, But ultimately, it's like, who's really winning? If you're, swimming against the current in this relationship so much, trying to prove something, and then, like, I don't know, you finally make it somewhere and then you're exhausted and can't do anything. Did you really win? Was that really, like, beneficial for your life? So just kind of think about that this month. The other possibility, which I think is less likely, because I think that most people can identify a scenario in the one, like I just said, because like none of us have perfect relationships. But a second possibility for this card as your focus could be that you're not being assertive enough in a certain situation. Is there something you kind of need to push back on a little bit? But again, that is I feel like that's going to be a more minimal one, and I feel like there are different cards that represent that better. Like the King of Swords or something like that. So, really do like think about those in your life who might be testing you, and maybe it's time to kind of let go of all those things. In your position of set aside, you drew the Prince of Pentacles. So it's the Knight of Pentacles in like a typical deck. And the Prince of Pentacles is straight up chilling, like he's not moving. And there's a time and a place for that. There's a time when sometimes you just need to be still. You need to wait for like chaos to like resolve itself around you without involving yourself. And sometimes you need to get through a thing, or sometimes you need to do something at just like the slowest pace possible, because the attention to detail is so important that this kind of energy is necessary. However, this is in your set aside this month, and so what have you been dragging your feet on? It could be this relationship, whatever this kind of like conflict is. And you need to not just sort of dig your heels into the mud and wait it out. You need to actually take action. So it's sort of like the reverse, not necessarily the reversal of the card, but it's kind of the opposite meaning in this case because it's in your set aside. So examine where you have been a little less active. Like what parts of your life have you kind of, crossed your arms about and you're not really actively dealing with, and maybe you need to, because maybe it's like this kind of relationship. I feel like these cards definitely have a match. And then in your position of additional consideration, you drew the Eight of Wands. And yeah, so you have two Wands cards this month. It's a lot of fire for you, Pisces. Fire and water can be a tough combo. I know it's your birthday month, but it seems like maybe there's a little bit of tension with some things that once you clear out, it's going to feel a lot better. But you got to do that like initial hard, uncomfortable work before you get there. But so the Eight of Wands is really a persister. Like you're persisting through this. You were persisting in maybe kind of like a slower way, and now it's time to move on and leave that. But you've really endured a lot lately. You've kind of been through it, and you're tired, and that's okay. We all get to, to have breaks, and we all get to feel frustrated when we've been trying so hard and it doesn't seem like we're making progress. But the Eight of Wands is a card where you're very close to being done. So if you're just feeling overwhelmed and kind of fed up with things, frustrated with certain situations, just know that you've totally got it. And it's not the solution is not as far off as it seems, because you're very strong and you can do this. Okay, Pisces. So that's your reading for the month. I hope that you found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I upload this suite of videos for all the signs before the first of every month. And if you hit the bell icon after subscribing, you'll be automatically notified as soon as I do that. So just makes it a little bit easier for when you can see your video is ready. And that's it, Pisces. Have a great birthday month. Bye.